I was able to deliver holographic or the illusion of holographic presentation from the online studio at home.
So let
It
me
was so
jump in there because you're illustrating so much great stuff, and I want to make sure I don't want us to gloss over this because what you're describing is a couple key things of the shift from in-person to virtual leadership. Number one is you're not doing information, you're doing experience.
Yeah.
Definitely. I want to make sure people hear that and understand that you've turned it in because so many are just talking heads. You made an experience with the information, and most leaders today still don't get that. Can you help us out to understand why the experience is so important with virtual leadership?
I mean, we all know boring meetings. We all know boring meetings with less eye contact, very tiny information on some slides, some screen sharing. You see a talking head in a very small window who is commenting that, and I mean, it's not easy to really to pay attention for a longer time if you have that. But if you really have eye contact, if you have the feeling, and I will never forget the person who provided this experience to me for the very first time. It was our common colleague, Terry Brock.
Yeah.
You know, I thought always, why is Terry Brock just so present? And I realized it was the eye contact. It was the bright picture he had, and I was feeling he was directly talking to me. And this is where it starts. You have to do the homework first, and then really around that orchestrate elements that make the online meeting really an experience. Yeah.
Now, also, there is, I'm going to call it acting. There's a performance to being on camera. And many colleagues struggle with this. I just want to give my information trigger. I just want to let people know this is what they need to know. And I'm like, to be a virtual leader, there is a performance to this now because you're compared automatically to Netflix, to nightly news, to TV. No matter what you do, you're always going to be compared now. So talk about the performance side. Was that hard for you to get in performance side from your own home studio?
Not really, because I realized very quickly, just letting myself being challenged from the virtual pros. I understood. Now we have a relaxed conversation, but I never would do a virtual presentation sitting in a chair.
Right.
You have to stand there. You have to be there in your full power. I'm not talking to my camera. I'm talking to real people.
Okay,
They're real people.
That's the key. You're talking through the camera to the person, not at the camera.
Yeah.
That is a quantum leap for most leaders. They still, when the red light goes on, they're like, instead of being relaxed and expressive, they go, "Hi, Rich, how's it going?" and become stiff and bored. First of all, stand up, like you said. But also, you have to talk through the camera, just like you're having a cup of coffee sitting down in the actual room. You have to feel that, exude that.
Definitely.
Any tips on how to do that? Because most people don't understand what you and I are talking about right now.
Look for interaction. Look for interaction, and don't get sidetracked or somehow out of your own mode by trying to deal with all the technical things. Have one that facilitates you, have one that supports you, have one that does all the thing for you. And tell your people, tell your staff or your supporters, please organize an interaction for me. I want to have direct feedback.
So recently I had Manly Feinberg II.
Yeah.
You probably know Manly. You both are mountaineers.
I know Manly, yeah.
So he was just on the show recently. He talked about the importance of mountain climbing and teamwork. Translate that to production, to doing virtual leadership. You should have someone else pushing the buttons, doing all that work, and you should be right here to give the best show you can.
Of course. And if you think production and not presentation, then you will really shift your perspective on how to do this. Because if you think presentation, I have to be the magician of the virtual presentation, and I have a stream deck, and I have this switch, and suddenly something doesn't work. You have a hiccup. Have a team. Have a
Have
team
it.
that does that for you, because every TV production would at least work with a small team of 2 or 3 people. Yeah,
And
just think about that.
that's a big change for a leader. They don't want to
Yeah,
do it all. They want to show you that,
yeah,
and especially if you're used to
yeah,
keynote, you walk on
yeah,
stage, you have the microphone, you just do it. You need to do the same now virtually. You need to
yeah,
have people
yeah.
supporting you so you can be 100% here.
It here, of course.
Now, when you get into virtual leadership and the interaction, I've done some keynotes now where I have a virtual audience and a live in person audience. I tell people I will present for the live audience, but my heart and my mind has to be more extra focused on the virtual because they will turn you off if they feel like they're forgotten. What advice you can give for people that are in that situation of they have live, but they're also streaming? How do you split your attention? Where do you put your energy?
Maybe that's one of the hardest challenges. You have to do so. Honestly spoken, I try to create the same conditions for everyone, if it's somehow possible.
Yep.
But it always but it also can work. But also have somebody who reminds you to turn maybe to the camera for a
Yes.
special moment,
Yes.
not to be focused too long to the live audience. Have someone there who gives you a sign. Now again, turn your attention to the virtual audience as well, so that they feel included as well. So I would just ask for help as well.
Well, and also the engagements that we talked about. It's hard when you're presenting to stop, turn to a monitor, and read the chat box. So what I've found is either have an earpiece, so you have a producer feeding the questions to you, or literally have them talk over you. And it's like, hey, Rainer, what's in the chat box right now? And then you actually voice over what's the question, and I answer the question. Make them part of it, but let the
Yeah,
virtual audience know you see them, you're
yeah,
answering your
yeah,
question.
of course,
You get much more interaction that way, don't you?
of course, definitely.
Now, there's another aspect of virtual leadership that I would love your opinion on because I think it's more personal. People think it's not personal when you go through the camera lens, but when you learn how to do it, share your heart, share your passions, share your dreams. They don't want information. They want to know you're the leader that loves them, they can trust. How do you do that through the virtual lens? How do you share your heart and your passion without looking goofy, do you think?
Yeah, I think is what's most important for leaders, and this is true for in-person meetings as well.
Yeah.
But harness the power of story.
Yes.
Share own stories, pick up stories from the company, from the participants. Really, really get personal, and I mean, there are so many ways to do that. You do not always have the one-to-many presentation where you are the only one who's talking. If you have a meeting, just make a check-in. That's maybe a little bit personal in terms of how's the energy, the moods today. Just 11 seconds, and 3-word maximum from everybody, and you will have a lot of fun. You are very quick through, and everybody is in here in the meeting as well. What I do when I'm talking one-to-many is really, on the one hand, sharing stories, sharing thoughts, getting very personal, bringing maybe something in from the day, what I've experienced before the meeting, sharing really something personal. But what is also very important for me, and what I really at, is when I organize meetings in different hybrid settings,
Hmm.
where I'm in the room and the virtual audience is more or less here in the room via MS Teams, Zoom, or so.
Yeah.
Make the screen where they appear the biggest you can have.
Yes.
they need to be present. They need to be bigger as the persons in the room. I will never forget the experience we had in one of my first hybrid workshop settings. Was a strategy workshop, 3 day, in August of 2020. There were one manager of South America virtual, one manager of North America virtual participant. We thought how I did the workshop, the facilitation and some inspiration in the workshop. We thought about how can we ensure that we do not lose them for the duration of the workshop for 3 days.
Right.
And we just decided to bring in the biggest possible screen you can have and give them one half and one half. They were so big, they were so present. And then we did a second thing, because we knew 20 people in the room, 2 online. There will be a lot of side talks. How do we make them part of the side talks? So we split it 4 microphones across the whole workshop setting, so that they could listen. The virtual participants could listen every single side talk, every single remark or statement that was said in the room. They were part of it, and this was the feedback after that. Hey, I had the feeling I was part of. I was with you for 3 days. The only thing I could not share with you were the meals. But whenever we were in the meeting room, we were together and we were part of it. It was great. So
That's ingenious. That's very immersive.
yeah,
That's, again, except for the physical touch, they're there
yeah,
100%.
yeah.
How long did it take to plan, strategize that? Because that's probably going to be the first leadership question: is how do I even think like that? How do I plan like that?
Yeah, just think about that. Maybe you always should prepare your meetings.
Oh, yes.
And if you just take the time for proper planning of a meeting, just double it. And think about what should not happen, what should I not forget, and what specific requirements the virtual members or remote participants can have, and try to fulfill that. So this is just a way of thinking, and take some time, because if you just oversee that, if you forget that, you will lose the people during the meeting, during the presentation, or during the workshop.
So which do you think is more important? Learning the technology side? Is this a tech-driven virtual leadership, or is you as a human have to come through the lens stronger as a virtual leader? Which one's more important, do you think, to master?
I think if you don't do the technical homework, you can forget the human, because they, if they do not have proper sound in the place where they where they try to follow you, you need to ensure sound quality first. You need to ensure proper lighting, and then afterwards a quite decent camera look. This is the absolute baseline. This is the homework you have to do. But then get human. Then get human, and think about that you need to weave in stories, that you should not rely on small font sizes and very text-rich PowerPoint slides. So just to be very clear in what you say, have your clear messages, have a font size that other people on a small laptop still can read, and think about how can you provide really an immersive experience, so that, as you said, the benchmark is not the other company. The benchmark is Netflix.
Yes, it is. And that's a major shift for leaders. But I like how you said that. Most of again, I do not like PowerPoint. I do not like clicking forever with another slide, another word, another slide. Turn it into storytelling with a picture, with a video, with an image. You relay the information, but now you have something to visualize, to pull them into what you're talking on. And I'm sure with your mountaineering, you've got some great clips to show on your screen while you're talking about what you're talking about, right?
Of course. of course. And just to be very clear, it is not enough to deliver average.
No.
What you should do as a leader, no matter if you own the company, if you're a senior vice president or a CEO, or just in a small company, or trying to lead the audience as a speaker, strive for the best slides, the best design, the best deck you can have, because otherwise it will not be outstanding. I got so much business. I got so much business during COVID just because my presentation made a little difference. It was fun for them,
Right.
and it was nice looking at it. It was a crystal clear sound. It was a way of entertaining them while giving information, while encouraging them, while inspiring them. And this is what we need to aim for.
Do you see the business world embracing virtual leadership the way you and I are? Do you really see them saying, I'm in them, I'm buying the gear, I'm learning how to be on camera, I'm investing in this new craft? Are they really doing it?
Maybe not enough. Maybe not enough, but it got better. It got better, but not at every place, not at every company, not at every individual leader. So, I mean, it just just think about how often we see somebody's nose from down.
Right. The nose or they're way down
Yeah,
here like
yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean,
We're still accepting that, but what
yeah,
you and I are
yeah.
talking about is radically different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I really, when I told you that I was asking for help, uh, one thing was asking for tech help, but another another kind of help I looked for was help from directors from the theater. What? Because this is my stage now.
Yes.
This is my stage now, and how should my stage look like? Where should I be positioned? Yeah. In which how much headspace
Right.
is fine for me, yeah, and how do I compose that, and how should I do that? So this is the kind of help that helped me to yeah, make something that is a little bit more than the average, that is somehow outstanding, that makes a little bit of a difference, and it made such a difference
Right.
in my business as well. So
Well, like you talked about the headroom for a second.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I always tell people about 3 fingers from the top of
yeah,
the frame. Now, if you're too high up, it looks like your head's chopped off.
yeah,
If you're too low, you got all
yeah,
that headspace. That's a
yeah,
great example of
yeah,
theater, TV
yeah,
producers.
yeah,
Talk to them. They'll tell you how that works, right?
yeah, definitely.
How hard was that for you to take their advice? Did you gravitate to it and say, "Yep, I got it," or was it hard to learn that?
It was unusual, but I'm professional enough to say, hey, if this is the new requirement, I will do it, no matter how it hurts, no matter how much it costs. I always know this comes back 10 times more. So you have to do that.
Now, when it comes to this is your stage, and earlier
Yeah,
we talked about standing up. During pandemic, I would always tell my people when I'm coaching consulting, I would tell them to stand up, and they'd laugh at me. I said, just move the camera, rearrange. And as they began, because they were complaining, this is boring, this is stiff, I don't get the same reactions. My keynote is what blah. But when they stood up, every time, 100% of the time, Rainer, they stopped, interrupted me, and said, why do I feel different? What did you do to me? And this light bulb went on saying, I'm standing up in my bedroom, in my office, but now I feel like I'm on stage. How important is that to bring that feeling of being on stage to the virtual world?
you have to create for yourself an environment that just brings you in the strongest power you can develop in order to really go through that camera,
Yes.
talk through the camera to the people. It will not. They will sense everything. If you are bored, if you are just thinking about who's sitting there, how they are looking right now, you just have to imagine that they are waiting for you, that they are really hungry for your message, that they are really expecting you to be in your best shape ever, and then be there, and then prepare everything to be in the best shape.
So, what do you see the future of virtual leadership? Do you see this being a fad that we go through and we all go back, or do you think this is here to stage and is the sky the limit?
Virtual collaboration and virtual leadership is coming to stay, like AI is coming to stay.
Rainer, we're going to pause for a second and bring up your website here because we want people to know where to find you, get more information. So, what are they going to find when you go to your website?
They will find more or less a little bit of information about me as a person, and maybe a sneak peek in the main work I do. My business is about 40% keynotes, as you said in the introduction. I do a lot of international work, and do a lot of keynotes. But on the other hand, my second pillar of my business is leadership team development. And leadership team development is really creating the collaboration of the top teams of companies in terms of working together, collaborating together, but also developing a common view of the future, developing a strategy and a common ambition that we really want to achieve. And I very often combine these strategy workshops or leadership team workshop with bringing in my keynotes at the right time of the process. So it's a unique blend of inspiration and facilitation and team development and strategy development. This is more or less what you will find on my website.
Fantastic. Go hit the QR code, scan it, check it on out. When it comes to teamwork, virtual leadership has been a big change there too, because we're globally connecting with our teams. What advice you would say to be a virtual leader to make sure your teams feel connected through that camera? What's some big things that make sure the team is really tight together?
Have in mind that the team changes, and some people might have met in person, and 2 or 3 new team members might not have, so they will be on a different level. Bring them together in person as soon as possible in order to develop that human sense that we need to really talk to each other. If we wouldn't have met 2 or 3 times at the NSA influence conventions in America,
Yeah.
our conversation would maybe be a little bit different. But
Yeah.
now that we met each other, it's like meeting a friend and talking to each other in a completely different way. So this is one part. And on the other side, just make it a team experience. The meetings you have, and not talking one leader to all the people and just asking for a commitment or for some report or so. Really create a conversation that is really about the team.
Yeah, you're not talking from the top down anymore. You're really trying to be one with them through the virtual world. That's a huge step.
Yeah.
So you've been a global mountaineer. What was more challenging? Has there been a mountain that was the most challenging, or was learning virtual leadership the most challenging experience you've had? Which one was tougher?
In terms of the risk that is involved, of course, mountaineering was tougher. You could die.
Yes.
But I tell you, there is always a kind of death you can die on a stage, or or in a presentation. If you have the feeling, I'm not getting through to them now, what can I do to get through to them? No matter if I'm here in the room together with people on a physical stage, in a physical meeting, or just in an online meeting, it can be very, very tough. Don't underestimate the challenge involved. I really can feel it when I have to work to get into the connection mode. I need the connection mode where the energy flows, to create that moment. Sometimes it's harder, yes, and that's really hard work. And I would say I use the same amount of energy and calories in an online presentation like on a mountain climb.
For those that are still struggling to embrace virtual leadership and invest the money, the time to learn the new skills, what nugget of wisdom would you give somebody that's saying, I still don't believe, I'm not going to do it? What advice can you get from them?
I would just ask them, why are you satisfied with 30% of the impact you could have?
Ooh,
You
wow.
should not be satisfied with that.
Wow. That's something to chew on. Wow. Rainer Petek, thanks for being here with us today on Rock the Stage Show. I really appreciate the time. By the way, our mutual friend Robert Sack says hello, the magnificent showrunner and co-producer of Rock the Stage Show. So again, if you're ever wondering how we get these great guests, Robert Sack does the magic, and a guy like Rainer shows up. Thank you, Rainer, for being our guest
Thank you
today
so
on
much,
Rock the Stage Show. So there you go, virtual leadership, a little deeper dive, and it's not slowing down. It's only getting bigger and bigger. And he admitted it was a bit of a climb for him to learn this, but he knew he had to learn it. And he also said there's a great benefit now. He's seen the benefit of how virtual leadership directly impacts his business. And he's global. He's in Germany. I'm in Washington, D.C. And look what we can do here. Come on back every week, 7 p.m. Sunday nights. We premiere a new episode on the YouTube channel. And then, of course, we move them over to Brave Arts TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire as well. Come on back next week for another exciting conversation on Rock the Stage Show. Until then, have a great week, and we'll see you here.